Two more days of this BS. It's the same thing. Like I have a camera too. I can do the same thing. Hi. I'm writing a story. I'm being watched by humans, so I have to record myself so that I can prove that I'm not doing anything illegal by existing. Because nobody wants to help anyone else, but they don't have a problem with trying to hurt you for no reason. So, just getting my time wasted this morning before I have to go to work. Wait, is this? Dang it. No, not a work. You didn't say you want me to tell you a story? Okay. I'm gonna be selling this soon. This story is called Doppelganger. It's a work in progress. Where'd it go? I'll start here.
In the beginning, there was only the goddess, and from her, the realm was created and given laws. In the end, all that was left was the mother goddess. Nothing was spared her divine judgment. Doppelganger. Opening scene. The letter in Leon's hand felt wrong. Not in the obvious way, its weight, its texture. No, it was something deeper. Subtle, but unsettling. It was as if, just beyond the edges of his perception, it shifted, like something alive shuddered inside the envelope. He hesitated. Must be nerves, he whispered to himself, his fingers trembling as he slid the knife beneath the seal. But when the envelope tore, a sound escaped that sent a cold shiver down his spine, a screech unnatural, something like metal scraping across bone. Leon jerked back, panic rising within him. The envelope quivered in his hand. He stared at it, trembling, breath shallow, and for reasons he could not understand, tears welled up in his eyes. His throat tightened with a grief so sudden and overwhelming it nearly broke him. It felt like an eternity, but only a second had passed before the dread began to dissipate. The letter fell limp, its unnatural life extinguished. His sanity returned, but the shadow of that moment lingered. He wiped at his eyes, uncertain why he had been so shaken. The fear had come and gone so quickly, leaving nothing but confusion. Leon shook his head and looked down at the letter. There were faint flecks of red across the cream-colored paper, and the black ink beneath them seemed to pull slightly, almost as though the words themselves were alive. He squinted and read. Dear Leon, don't come looking for me. When you told me to let it go because you didn't want anything to happen to me, I should have listened. You begged me not to go to New Philadelphia. Now, I beg you, please, take your own advice. I can't explain. I dare not explain. What is known cannot be unknown. You must remain ignorant. Do not search for me. I can't be found. You are my friend, my partner. I hope your days on this earth are long and without fear. Be grateful for your ignorance. For I know, as a matter of truth, that the most merciful thing in the world is, in fact, the inability of our minds to correlate all its contents. Your partner, your friend, Shepard Alexander. Leon's hand tightened around the letter, knuckles white as the words sank in. He read it again, slowly this time, but the dread he'd felt moments before began to creep back in. The room seemed colder now, the walls tighter. He felt watched, though he was alone. For a brief moment, he considered crumpling the letter and tossing it into the fire. But something in him, a sense of duty, perhaps, kept him still. The room was silent, save for the faint crackling of the hearth, but the letter in his hands felt like it might scream again at any moment. Elemental Warriors. Quadralin Mare Curse of Mare. 0.
That's what I'm doing. Apparently this is illegal. Apparently this is suspicious. Oh, and this is also the reason why I'm homeless. Because I'd rather do this than go out clubbing or drinking or, doing drugs or robbing people and murdering and, just being a decadent person in the world. Wanting to be a calm, cool, collected, intelligent individual has become a terrible person somehow. Somehow the world has flipped 180 degrees, and being a decent human being, a gentleman, kind, honest, moral, and ethically sound, and just generally trying to do the right thing has been deemed as stupid, dumb, ignorant, retarded, slow. You have to be like mentally ill to like be obedient and follow the rules and follow regulations. Like somehow I was raised to believe that if you understood what somebody said to you and could make decisions based on information that was given, that proved that you were intelligent. But somehow we've transitioned into a place where your intelligence is not a matter of your ability to be obedient and follow directions and follow simple instructions, but your ability to interpret what is being said, understand what is expected of you, and not do any of that shit. Like somehow that became intelligent. And in the chaos that is created from that behavior, don't take accountability for it. Blame the person that gave you the information and had an expectation for you, and tell them that they're not good enough, and that if it wasn't for them, then the things that was expected of you are the reason why the world isn't functioning properly, because you don't take any accountability, you don't take any responsibility for yourself. You blame everybody else, you hold everyone else accountable into a different standard than the one that you hold yourself to. I don't know what's happening in society, but my 2 cents is like the goal is to address that very specific aspect of the world. The internet is flooding everybody with all of this unnecessary chaos about just BS. And the truth of the matter is that life's not as difficult as we make it, and life's not as hard as we allow it to be. You have options and choices, and you can make good decisions, and you have to live with the consequences of your actions. I don't understand why so many people allow people to manipulate them into doing things that they don't want, and then being upset that they got the outcome that they didn't want. You invested in that, right? So why are you upset? I'm homeless living in my car because I wanted to get married, and my wife made it clear, my fiance at the time made it clear that to validate myself to her, I had to do things that I personally deemed as irresponsible, very high risk behavior when it comes to dealing with finances. Nothing illegal, nothing immoral, just here's my rent money, let me give that to her instead of saving it to pay my rent. Like common sense says, if this is your rent money, use your rent money to pay your rent. Don't give your rent money to your fiance so she can use it to fund her wedding, because you already sent her money for her wedding. So you don't need to give her more money for her wedding when she already has received money for a wedding. I didn't do that. Am I whining and complaining and bitching and moaning about the decisions that I made? No, I'm whining and complaining and bitching and moaning about the reality of the world that I have to function in. Those are two different dynamics. And the noise that the internet is creating and the chaos is being created is interfering with the common sense aspect of just basic functions in life. Women are upset because they feel like it's not a woman's role as a wife to have to wash dishes, so they want to be single. Well, when you're single, you're going to wash your own dishes. So what's the difference between washing your own dishes and washing your husband's dishes? Women want men to do everything for them with zero accountability, and they want us also to recognize that that's not slavery. Being a wife is not slavery. Being a partner in a relationship is not slavery. If you have a husband that is providing for you and providing for the household and making sure that everything is being taken care of, and the only thing you have to do is your part, which would be like wash the dishes because he was at work for 12 hours, cook a meal because he was at work for 12 hours, and when he gets home he's going to be hungry. He bought the food, he's paying for the electricity, he's paying the gas. And a whole counter argument of that is women would never. It's not in a woman's nature to be a provider to men. Women can't. A woman can't go to work for 40 hours a day and pay rent and lights and gas and bill and be happy to come home to a man that is in the house not doing anything. Literally, like if a woman worked for 40 hours a day, paid all the utilities, paid all the bills, took care of everything financially, and had a husband that stayed home with the kids, did the laundry, washed the dishes, took out the trash, cut the grass, and did all of the non-financial aspects of the household, she would be unfulfilled. She would not be happy. Men, that's literally how we're designed. That's literally how we're built. And that energy, women are being sold a lie. You're being told, yeah, you can go out and you can be as successful as a man. And what the world isn't telling you is, we want you to do the same work that a man does for less money and less resources. Because we have to pay your husband a wage that allows him to be able to provide for you and his children. But if we can convince you to work the way he's working at less income, better for us. And that's why the world is in the state that it's in. Because people run around believing this crap. People run around believing that. I just seen a video today where it was saying that the older generation of women were miserable in their marriages because they didn't have a voice. That's not even how life works. You have parents and grandparents that you can see are literally happy. They're not happy, they're just pretending. The only way you can pretend to be happy is you have to be happy. No one that's not happy can pretend to be happy. That's called depression. People are in functional relationships and are functional adults and are not complaining. The people that you see complaining are not functional adults. They're dysfunctional people. That's why they're complaining. That's why they're making noise and being loud and obnoxious, because they're not happy. They are miserable. They want to believe these things that aren't valid. They just want to be like, women want to get divorced from their husbands to do what? To do what? You are in a relationship with a man that you've vowed to spend the rest of your life with. You have to make a couple of sacrifices and some hard decisions in life, and you're upset with that. So you want to divorce him to do what? To get another man? Because you think that somehow the next guy is going to be different from the one you're already with? You think that you're going to marry a guy that's going to take you? Women want these profiles on the internet that's spewing all this nonsense. They want slaves. They want slaves. And that just doesn't work. That is just not how the world is designed. A man is not going to work 12 hours a day, wash the dishes, take out the trash, clean the yard, do all of this labor and still have time for you and still make you first and still talk to you and still love you and still be able to have sex with you every other night. Like, that is just not a realistic expectation. It's not. It's just not a realistic expectation. And My02cent is going to be dedicated to that stuff. That's why it's for 1821. I turn this camera on because I have the same routine every day. I've been in this car for almost a year. And 3 days from now, I'll get keys for my apartment. I didn't want to give them an extra $130 to get the keys early. And I did the fucking work. I'm not whining, I'm not complaining, I'm not arguing, I'm not fighting. My wife doesn't want to grow and evolve and change. She believes that the only thing I want to do is badmouth her on the internet. No, you want to badmouth me on the internet. You feel like you can gain something by proving to the world that I'm not capable of being a good man. And that's fine if that's what you want to do. If that's your energy, you go do that. You go do that. I'm gonna do the work. I'm gonna keep doing the work. I have plans. This is the last time I'm gonna be homeless in my. This is what homeless in your car looks like. All of that extra stuff that people want to pretend and take the time out to try to paint this beautiful picture about the way the world works. It's not how life works. This is what it looks like. If you don't follow the rules and the regulations and maintain order in your life, this is what it looks like. And guess what? You don't have to be treated like shit to do that. You don't have to work under your potential. You don't have to be told to do things you don't want to do. You just go find better. If you're working a job that you don't like and you're not getting paid what you need to survive, get in your 2-week notice and go get another job. If that's not working for you, go Go get the skills you need, whether that's going to college or not. Go get the skills you need to do the thing that you want to do. The biggest problem that I had in life, I didn't have the answers to the questions, and I was being given information that wasn't valid or true. So my 2 cent is about, hey, these are the things that you need to consider to be able to get from where you are to where you want to be in a functional, effective way that isn't just reiterated bullshit. All of that noise, this cuts through all of the noise, and it's not going to be comfortable. It's not going to be rosy and pretty and beautiful. It's going to be is That's just not how life works. This is not how life works, and pretending like that's how life works doesn't get anybody anywhere. It gives us presidents like Trump and Elon Musk buying presidents. That's what the world generates. Everybody at the functional level as adults on this planet can just be that. You can just be functional at your level. You can get a job, go to work, take your money to establishments that you enjoy, spend money on those establishments. Those establishments can invest their money properly, also be responsible adults, and continue to provide a service to their community. And at the fundamental level, that's everything. The only thing government is supposed to do is supposed to make sure that your ability to function honestly, and that business's ability to function honestly is controlled and regulated in a way that perpetuates civilization. That's it. All that extra crap is not necessary, and that's just the reality of it, you know. So, as always, it's Paul Emerson. I've given you my 2 cent. I need to get back to putting this book together. It should be on sale soon, hopefully within the next month or two.